Next up is Cybermonk and their matchmaking. Round of applause.
Thank you. Cool. So yeah, I've been working on matchmaking. So I'm going to just walk through where we were before I started this, and what we wanted to achieve. So our game runs on Photon Cloud, which is has servers in lots of regions, and it's like cloud-based, so it can just create servers for you on demand, like I've said here. The servers in Photon, they don't know anything about your game. So each one is just like a relay. So for any game, they'll have the same server. It just knows how to receive messages and send them out to everyone else. It's very much like a peer-to-peer kind of setup, but it sidesteps some of the issues with peer-to-peer by having these relay servers. So as a result, it's extremely cheap because you don't need any specialized hardware. All you need to do is initialize like a new server with your app ID, and it will restrict joining to just that. All the other logic is the same on their end, which is important for us. And it's extremely popular. So Photon have this thing called Pun, which is like the as I understand it, like the most popular networking solution for Unity, with many users. So that's a really important thing for us as well, to make sure that we're using something that has a lot of support and a lot of docs people we can talk to. And so it actually has a matchmaking service built in. I'm going to go into why we needed something different. And also it hosts the Photon's thing called Photon Quantum, which is we're using. So we actually have no choice but to use this, although we decided to use this before we started using Quantum. And I'm not going to talk about Quantum tonight. It's really cool, but save that for another presentation maybe. So this is how the process worked now, and by now I mean last week. When you start the game, if you want to create a room, you can connect to a region. So you choose which server you want, like Asia or Europe, etc. Create a room, so you give it a name and create it. Then just the game automatically joins the room, and then you wait for other people to join your room until you got a full room, and then you can play. And on the other end, if you want to join a room that exists, you first select a region. If you know who you're playing with, you're gonna have to agree ahead of time which region you're gonna be in. Request a list of all the rooms, select the room you want, join that room, and then this is an interesting thing. So if it's a 4-player room and there are 3 slots closed and 1 open, 2 people might join at the same time, which creates a weird situation where, like a race condition where you both join, and then if that happens and you're the 5th person in a 4-person room, you've got to go back and get a new version of the list because your list has gotten stale, which is annoying and like a difficult thing to fix. And then you'll wait together for the room to fill and play. So pretty straightforward, but it's not what we're looking for. So what we want is cross-region play. So this is something we think is very important, particularly if we launch and there are quiet times. We want to make sure that everyone who jumps into the game has the highest possibility of finding a match. So that means if you're the only person in, say, Asian servers that can play a game, then we want you to automatically fall back to Russian servers and play with them or whatever's nearby. Ideally, the best possible server, so that we don't have people getting the game and jumping in and then maybe being in an off time and not being able to find a game at all and having a terrible experience and not coming back. Party. So we want to have a party mode, so you can go online and create a party with your friend. It's as if you're both sitting at the same computer with a controller each, and you can go online together as a team and find opponents to play and play against them. At the moment, with this Photon setup, you can't do that because you need to have a room to create your party for everyone to be connected to, but you're not able to search for another room at the same time. So you can either be in a room or be searching for a room. So to have the party, you need to have your room with your party friends in it, and then do the search, which is just not possible. So it's a limitation that we had to overcome. And no waiting. So this is another thing that is, oh damn it, restricted by the same room logic. So the other thing we want is that when you're searching for a match, so just say I jump on with Matt to play a game. we want to find someone to play against, and we're waiting for a while. We want to make sure that people have the option of playing another game. So we might want to play 1v1, or we might want to play against AI while we wait. This is something you can do in Rocket League if you've played that. And that's important because people get bored while they're waiting. So if we have low volume, that's just another way people can drop out of the game and not get the match they want. You can imagine a situation where people are coming online, queuing for a minute, being like, oh, there's no matches, then jumping off. But there could be like 90 seconds later, another person jumps on. So if you had something to occupy them, it could be the difference between no one playing games and actually a population of people playing building up over time. And the other constraint is it has to, whatever solution we use has to be cheap or free, because ain't got no money. So the solution we came up with is PlayFab, which is this pretty fancy Microsoft thing, and also for some reason is free, at least the matchmaking component. Completely free, which is awesome. So I'm just going to run quickly through how it works. Basically, they've got a big server, and every player who wants to find a match submits a ticket. So you just post one up to the server, you say which game you're in, and it goes into a queue. The queue is just a list of all active tickets, and they'll be matched based on a variety of rules. So different people will be eligible to play against each other. It could be based on their skill, or how close their pings are, or what game mode they want to play would be another example of a rule you could make. And then attributes, things that are attached to the tickets. So that would, similar example, it's like your skill level or what game mode you're looking for, your ping to various different regions. And they also have a concept of a match, which is what you get when all these come together. So when you get in the queue for long enough and your tickets combine, they create a match, which gets sent back to you, and that's got a list of all the other clients to connect to. So PlayFab is perfect because it has this matchmaking system, and it's completely disconnected from their server technology or anything. You can use it however you want. So we can use it to drive and set up our Photon games. So the rule system is really cool. You do everything through their web interface. So I've just got this example of the region selection rule. So in any queue, you'll have like a whole set of these rules. And this is the one that we use to specify which region is best for the player. So when I submit a ticket, I'll submit a list of every single Photon region and what my latency is to that region. And this rule is used to match people appropriately. So here I've given it a name. The type is like how it does the matching. There's a special type for regions because it's a bit complicated. Attribute path is where to look for the information it needs in the ticket I send up. And this is where it's like interesting and customizable. So for this, what I've got for now is you can play against anyone with a ping of less than 150, which is pretty generous. And I'll probably turn that down later. But you can extend it a bit further. So here you could say like, if you're sitting in the queue for a minute, then just forget about the ping entirely. Like I don't, if you're sitting in the queue for over 5 minutes, then you know what, you can play against someone with a ping of 500. I think that it's a bit silly, but you can also do something a bit more nuanced, which is here we give it a linear expansion. So the way this works right now is every 15 seconds you're waiting in the queue, it adds 50 to your maximum latency. So you'll start permitting 150, then after 15 seconds, you'll permit 200. Thinking about this now is like way too fast, but anyway, whatever. After 30 seconds, you'll be accepting 250 ping, and then that will continue up to 350. Anyone with latency between each other of 350 will never be able to play. Cool. So the new procedure is to find a match, we authenticate with PlayFab. We ping all the Photon servers to work out how far away we are from each one right now. Then create a ticket, send all those pings with the ticket and the version of the game we're using so that we don't accidentally match people on different versions, which would cause all kinds of problems. Then you repeatedly hold the ticket until it's timed out, at which point you create a new ticket, or you've matched, at which point you can start the game after you fetch the match information, which is a unique ID and the region that the match is in. So this is the complicated thing, is that because the matches can be in all different regions depending on how many people are around. You need to know where to connect to find the game. And then from there, we check, are you already playing a game? Because you could be playing a game with someone in your party, or you could just be playing a local game. If so, we immediately end it. Are you connected to the wrong region? So you could already be connected online, like if you're at a party or if you just were playing another game before. If so, we disconnect from there. So if your new game's in Russia and your last one was in Asia, we'll disconnect from Asia. Then you disconnected from the right region, which sounds back to front, but is correct. So if you're not yet in the right region, then we connect. Then create or join a room and wait for everyone to join, and then you can play. So extremely simple, but this is what it looks like to the player. Hold on. Yeah. It's pretty complicated under the hood, and it's been a lot of time. It's actually much more complicated than that last slide suggested too, because there's all these edge cases and cancellations and weird stuff I had to deal with. But at the end of the day, it becomes like a much simpler interface for the player. Anyway, so that's what I've been working on. I actually haven't done the party mode yet. That's in the works, but it's nearly there. So it's all come together pretty quickly, actually, quicker than I expected. Yeah, that's all. Any questions about anything?
Got one from the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to allow players with non-up-to-date clients to play online?
Yes. It's a bit complicated. So yeah, you'll be able to play anyone with the same version as you, but there's two versions. There's the version of the game and there's the version of the simulation. So we might fix a bug, say, in the menu or optimize some graphical stuff, and that won't actually change how the game works, so it'll be completely valid for two different versions to play against each other. In that case, you'll be able to play against people with different versions. But you could have, a version from this version that's out this week, for example, in our Discord, and play against anyone else with that version if you wanted to. We'll always respect that, because the way the servers work is they just kind of petition people off based on that version that they send through.
Won't that potentially lower the amount of people in the matchmaking pool quite significantly?
Yes, except Steam will auto-update them to latest anyway, so
it's going to be latest.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you'll be playing them for 5 minutes before you quit the game and Steam auto-updates you. But that's still a fine experience, rather than it's not like we have a server that we're going to push an upgrade button on and just cut everyone out of the game they're playing.
Are you selling the game over Discord somehow, or is it a demo?
It's just, at the moment, it's like our alpha, beta, I guess now, version of the game. So anyone can join the Discord and play for free. And at some stage we'll release a demo, I think, but at the moment it's all free, so yes.
Will you allow mixed local and online multiplayer? So two people at one computer matched against a remote team?
Yeah, so actually we support that already. So both models supported that. The new one supports that as well. So yeah, you could have, for example, you could have two people at one computer with controllers. You could have one friend at a different computer, all three on a team, playing against another team of three that are any configuration of people. The idea is to make it that it's no different to be sitting at the same computer as to party up with someone else. Yeah, and also the goal is to have cross-platform support. So basically we want to make it as easy and flexible as possible to play.
Nice.
Cool.
Sweet.
Thanks.